This video has been recorded a few days after the original video, which I put out. I believe I'm probably going to be putting out tomorrow because I haven't got finished with the uploading of it. But this one here, it's been recorded after some more opinions have come out about these vehicles. Now, I haven't played the Tier 9 yet myself, but I've been reading some opinions of the Tier 9, and it seems like the Tier 9 might be the pinnacle of the tree, which is fairly disappointing, I'll be honest, because it seems like Wargaming has a bit of a habit of doing that with heavy tanks, because, well, they've done it with the M454 now. The M454 is just flat worse than the Tier 9 because it's effectively the same tank, just a tier higher, so why on earth would you ever want to play it? With the Tier 9 on this thing's line, well, if you look at the Tier 9 is just a more sort of... It's a more buildable tank, if that makes sense, so you can make it what you want it to be. So, as an example, if you prefer alpha damage, you pick the last 122mm and you're set. You prefer rate of fire, you pick the first 100mm and you're fine. Plus, it doesn't seem like the mobility on that tank's too bad either. I've seen one of them in a game so far and the mobility doesn't seem too bad on it, so you could play that thing with the mediums, I think, and not really have to worry too much. And if you do come across a tank with a lot of armor, like, you do have enough penetration on the gold rounds in order to make it kind of like a... kind of have like the same sort of penetration as like a Tier 10 standard round. So it's a vehicle which I think is just a lot more sort of... It's a lot more user friendly because you can build it to be what you want to be. Whereas if you see an ST2, the ST2 is only going to be set up in one way because, well, it only has one gun option. So can you imagine if this thing had the option of two 100mm as an example? I feel like people would find this tank infinitely more intriguing if that was the way this thing was set up, because I feel like people would probably wind up picking the 100mm if there were more medium tank players. Now granted, the 100mm would not be as usable as it would be on a medium tank, purely because this thing's mobility is nowhere near as quick. This thing is nowhere near as quick as a medium tank. I mean, you can just see as I'm rolling forward here now, this tank, its speed isn't the worst I've ever seen, but it's also nowhere near the best I've ever seen. So it's a vehicle which you really do need to play and be sort of cautious in, because if you overextend in this thing, it's very easy to get sort of just, well, put into a situation where you can't really do much to get yourself out. But I will say the armor on this thing, like, I've seen some people say the armor on this thing is not that good, but I've had I might just be lucky, but I've had a lot of good experiences with this thing's armor. I've had a lot of circumstances where I thought I was going to take a ton of damage. Now, it could just be down to people's inability to aim, but I've had a lot of situations where I thought, oh my god, I'm dead here, but I survived. Whether that's lag on the test server or whether it's the armor being fairly decent on this tank, I don't know. It's really hard to judge. And this is the other thing. I have noticed that the gun gets knocked out sometimes on this tank, which is unfortunate, but, well, I mean, considering I'm not taking damage whenever people shoot my guns to my turret, I think it's a fair trade-off. I mean, considering these guys have been trying so hard to do damage to me and they've been failing every single time. Granted, it's long range, but you have to remember that's a Jagdpanzer E100 with 420mm of penetration on its gold rounds, and he's been firing nothing but those. So, really gives you an idea of just how tanky this thing can be, at least at range. Unfortunately, like, when it comes to close range fights, I've only really had one really serious close range fight. Unfortunately, that was in the game which I kind of messed up the audio for, and the audio was just impossible to understand. Like, I might I might strip some moments from that game and just strip the audio just so that you can see what I was talking about, and just record some audio over the top of it afterwards. In fact, I think that probably will be what I do, just so that I can make some use of it. And that was a mistake. I got distracted by the EBR. What? Oh, right. Okay, over there. Right, that makes sense. I was like, how the hell did he shoot me there? And yeah, it makes sense that he was able to shoot me there because, well, I forgot that he would be able to hit me from over there. I forgot because all those houses are there doesn't mean that he doesn't have a clear shot on me in some shape or form. But I do hope that my teammates are able to help me out with this guy a little bit, because, well, it's a Jagdpanzer E100, and I'm now on below 1000 health, which means that that guy can very easily kill me at this point. Unfortunately, it was too slow to get shot over towards the STB. Jagdpanzer, what are you doing? You are still back there. Let me see, where are you looking now? Okay, you're looking towards the friendly ST2. Come on, big boat. Okay, stick 900 damage into that guy. Hopefully that will allow the friendly ST2 to finish him off. If he's firing gold rounds, he'll be able to put them straight through his turret. Unfortunately, so far he's just taking damage. Okay, I'm going to have to try and help this guy out. I was hoping to be able to, like, sort of distract these guys. As well, the ST2 was finishing this guy off, but unfortunately it couldn't. And now we have an EBR right in front of us, and the EBR is going to be a massive pain in the ass, because, well, it's an EBR. And if he's firing HE, he'll probably kill me. And the thing is, with this thing's mobility, like you can see how difficult this thing is to really get the gun on target, especially against a target as quick as this. I mean, look at how much I'm struggling to get the gun pointed towards this guy. This guy is struggling to do damage to me, but like, I am trying everything I possibly can here to try and stop him from killing me. And I think a large degree of luck has been involved in me surviving as long as I have so far. See, I very nearly got that guy, but you can see that, like, I think that guy was just auto-aiming onto me and not really aiming his shots, because I feel like he should have killed me there about 3 times over, but he kept messing up the shot. And I was trying to, like, get forward around him, but then I realized, oh, if I move forward away from this wall, he will just circle me, and that would be me dead no matter what. So I had to keep my ass against the wall. I couldn't pull forward in order to try and ram him to death, because if I missed, that was me dead right there and then. I did mess up that shot to try and finish that guy off, but unfortunately, well, I don't think there's any real way for me to win that, considering I think they had like 7 tanks left there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they have 6. They had 6 tanks remaining in there. So there was no real way for me to win that one, I don't think. But you can see that this thing's armor, at least range for the most part, does seem to work fairly well. That hit I took against the Jagdpanzer E100, that 1100 damage hit, that was, I would say, entirely my fault, because I got really distracted by an EBR shooting me in the side of the turret. I forgot to hold the right mouse button to keep my turret pointed towards the Jagdpanzer, and that's what allowed the Jagdpanzer to get the damage into me, because of just a split-second misjudgment in like where the Jagdpanzer was looking and like what tank had actually shot me. If I had realised it was the EBR initially, I would have just ignored it, but because I was worried about it being something else, I, well, instinctively looked over to see what it was, and that allowed the Jagdpanzer to just plug me with that massive 1100 damage hit. So I do like the way this thing plays, and I'm very intrigued to play the tier 9 to see how it plays as well, because I've been hearing that people like the tier 9 more than this thing. I would really be interested to see what the tier 9 plays like if people say it's more fun than this thing, because whenever I played this thing at first, I was genuinely like, okay, I think this is going to be my new tier 10 heavy tank go-to. Because, don't get me wrong, the 60TP is a nice tank, but the gun's too RNG dependent. This thing, I always did love the IS-4's 122mm gun, the M62. This thing just has 2 of them. I always loved that gun, so, well, more is better. So I really do think I will go towards this thing pretty much as soon as it comes out, but that will all depend on whether or not Wargaming decides to nerf or buff it or anything like that in the meantime before it comes to the live server.